Welcome to Season 4 of Town of Salem 2. This is the largest content update the game has ever received, with lots of reworks, balance changes, improvements to ranked, new modifiers, and a brand new role. Let's get right into the changes. Introducing Salem's latest new role, Oracle. Oracle is a brand new time protective role with the ability to cast their Aegis over any town role. Any players in the game with that role will be protected by a barrier. The Oracle cannot protect the same role 2 nights in a row, and can only protect Oracles one time. The design goal of Oracle was to bring a role guessing inspired mechanic to the town, while still ensuring it's fate claimable by evils and still balanced. We hope everyone really enjoys playing with and against the new role. Our first new modifier of the new update is anonymous players. This modifier prevents players from choosing an in-game name, instead using the name of the character they're playing as. Every player's cosmetics will also be randomized when the game starts. This modifier has been brought on to be used in competitive role lists, where your knowledge of how other players play based on previous matches could be used to your advantage. We're applying a general change to all neutral evil roles in the game. All neutral evil roles will have basic defense on the first 2 nights, and will lose it for nights following that. That means that Doomsayer and Executioner will lose their permanent basic defense, but Pirate and Jester will now gain basic defense for the first 2 nights. Our next changes introduce more generalization into some of the game's feedback messages. When a time protective saves a player at night, the victim will no longer be told the role of the player who attacked them. This has been changed to reduce confirmation of what roles are in play in a game, especially in modes with the Secret Killer's modifier. Following this, all effects that block visits such as Jail, Party, and Smog will now use a generalized unknown obstacle message, also reducing role confirmation in games. Moving on to neutral apocalypse roles, we are reverting the change that made them a faction and will be making them mutually exclusive again, meaning only one apocalypse role can spawn per game. From monitoring tens of thousands of games, we've observed that the apocalypse team was winning far too often with 3 to 4 roles, but generally struggling with only 1 to 2 roles. To ensure these solo roles remain impactful, we're going to be applying various buffs to them both now and in future updates. For those of you who love the chaos of multiple apocalypse roles in a game, do not panic. We're going to be introducing a new 4 Horsemen modifier that applies various balance changes to the apocalypse faction, and allows up to 4 of them to spawn at once again. Moving on to the first direct balance change of the update, Pirate has received a full overhaul, completely changing the way it works as a neutral evil. At the start of the game, the Pirate will have 3 targets known as landlubbers. The Pirate will know the landlubbers' rules, but not who they are. The Pirate will win once all 3 landlubbers have perished, and the Pirate now has 2 abilities at night. The first ability is named Scour, allowing the Pirate to investigate a player at night to see if they are or are not a landlubber. The second ability is Plunder, allowing the Pirate to deal basic attack to their target at night. However, if the Pirate kills somebody who isn't a landlubber, they will lose all remaining ability charges. We chose to overhaul Pirate this update due to its previous duel mechanic being fully luck based, making the role super inconsistent and frustrating to play against. We have had Pirate removed from all competitive modes since Ranked released, and will be adding it back now that it has been overhauled. Hangman as a mechanic is no longer present in the game, being removed from Deputy, Vigilante, and Prosecutor. We've decided to move away from it due to its impact being way too harsh on the town, with these 3 roles being some of the lowest win rate roles in the game, despite their power. We will continue to monitor how the removal of Hangman affects these roles and the game overall, and will continue to make any adjustments where necessary. Deputy has received a rework following its previous changes from Season 3. Deputy is no longer unique, now has a basic attack, and no longer reveals their identity upon a successful shot. We've also updated the criteria for when a shot will actually land. Deputy will now miss their shot if their target is town aligned, or has basic or greater defense. This shot is affected by Enchanter and Soul Collector's frames. We wanted to keep the day shot that Deputy currently has, while allowing it to exist in a state where it is fate claimable by evil roles, and has a less detrimental effect on the town when it misfires. Vigilante has been reworked. It will now need to load each bullet individually instead of loading all 3 bullets on night 1. A bullet is loaded if Vigilante does not shoot somebody at night. Instead of dying to the Hangman, Vigilante will now put their gun away. We've decided to change Vigilante due to its dominance over other town killing roles. The ability to kill up to 3 evil roles in a row with 0 delay heavily limited our designs for other town killing changes. Executioner has received a long awaited rework. The Executioner will now receive their target on day 1, with their target always being a townie who isn't a town power or amnesiac. If the executioner's target is found guilty, the executioner will torment them directly, stealing the kill. Upon the executioner's victory, the number of trials the town has access to per day will be reduced by 1. If an executioner's target dies before they're found guilty, the executioner will turn into the Jester. Executioner is also now a unique role. The previous version of Executioner had the issue of severely punishing players for making correct hangs, such as tormenting a sheriff who just found and got an evil hanged. We've changed the Executioner to be a more evil-sided role, and we'll be monitoring how this affects the game's meta, and if it's a healthy change overall. Medusa has been buffed to make it more on par with Enchanter. When a Medusa stone gazes somebody, they will be marked as stone gazed for the rest of the game. That player will appear as stoned when they die regardless of how or when it happens. Alongside this change, Medusa can now stone gaze other Coven members, giving Coven the opportunity to hide how many of them are left in a game. Potion Master and Witch give a new effect when revealing roles called Illuminated. This effect will last for 2 nights and will prevent a Ritualist from performing a blood ritual on that player. Ritualist's goal in Town of Salem 2 was to prevent players from openly claiming their roles, imposing the current VFA meta on the game. Potion Master and Witch directly conflicted with this design by directly revealing roles for the Ritualist, completely bypassing the town's reason for using VFA. Investigator and Spy have both been reworked. Percept has been removed from the Investigator and has been moved over to the Spy, replacing the previous functionality of bugs. Spy bugs will still persist until triggered, making it a stronger ability for the Spy than it was on Investigator. Investigator will now reveal 2 different crimes a player could have committed when investigating them: trespassing and murder. Trespassing will be shown if that player has ever visited an opposing faction member at any point in the game. Murder will be shown if that player has attacked someone during the night they were checked. Jesters being nerfed. Self-S have been removed, as Jester now has basic defense for the first 2 nights of the game. Jester will now appear as a town role to all town investigative roles, meaning a Jester will no longer be pushed based on their TI results. Jester is a brand new chatterbox mechanic. Every day the Jester will need to send between 1 and 4 messages, or they will die of boredom at night. The exact requirement is shown to the Jester at the start of each day. If a Jester fails to meet their chatterbox requirements before being hanged, their win will be invalidated. Necromancer and Retributionist have both received minor reworks. Ghoul has been completely removed from Necromancer. Necromancer will now directly attack with the Necronomicon instead. We found Ghoul to be too powerful of an ability after Necronomicon passing was added to the game. Necromancer can now use town-aligned corpses an infinite number of times, ensuring parity with Retributionist. Necromancer will now always take corpse priority over a Retributionist, with Retributionist priority now being random at night instead of being based on player numbers. Necromancer can now use Conjurer and Deputy at night. Retributionist can now use Deputy. Both roles' abilities will be triggered at the start of the next day. Necromancer and Retributionist have both received a new user interface for choosing who to reanimate or resurrect during the night. Both of these roles needed a lot of minor tweaks this update, but they should ultimately play mostly the same as before while being healthier for the overall game. Lookout has had its Astral Visit removed, now visiting like a normal town role. Astral was added to Lookout with the intention of it being used to prevent multiple lookouts from finding and confirming each other, and while it was successful at that, it also had the side effect of bypassing all passive or rampaging attacks in the game, which was just unfair. Lookout has been given a new attribute named Camouflage, which makes them invisible to other lookouts and wildlings. Wildling has also received this new camouflage buff. Soul Collectors received a minor rework. Soul Collector will now permanently frame reap targets as a Soul Collector to investigative roles, including Potion Master. Soul Collector will also now collect the souls of reap targets who die during the day. Alongside these 2 buffs, we've increased Soul Collector's required souls to 7 instead of 6. This has been done for consistency reasons, as a random night 1 soul collection would boost deaths at reveal to day 4, which is earlier than we'd like it to be. Prosecutor's been buffed in accordance with the removal of Hangman. Prosecutor will now lose all remaining ability charges if they prosecute the wrong player instead of just dying. Plaguebearer has been buffed to see exactly who infects who at night. This change allows a Plaguebearer to more reliably fake claim roles like Tracker and Lookout. Poisoner's poison ability has now been replaced with a new ability named Smog. Smog allows you to prevent all visits on a player at night, blocking them with the message Unknown Obstacle. This works the same way as the Socialite's party does, and Socialite's party message has also been generalized to the Unknown Obstacle message. To prevent inconsistencies with Poisoner's new Smog ability, Socialite's been buffed to be control immune, while Witch has been nerfed to no longer be party or Smog immune. Ranked mode has been disabled. It will be re-enabled once off-season is concluded. During off-season, we're going to be changing the ranked practice role list every week. We'll be collecting data and player feedback on each list tested to help us decide on what the final Season 4 ranked list should look like. Larger changes will be coming to ranked at the end of off-season. Stay tuned for more updates on this in the future. Thanks for listening to all the changes in this update. Our full changelogs are available in-game. If you have any feedback on this update so far, we'd love to hear it. Feedback can be shared with us under this video, on X, on Reddit, on Steam, or on our Discord server. We all hope everyone really enjoys the new Season 4 update.